I should be wearing a leather jacket for this review, but listen, I live in South Carolina. It is June. It is hot outside, so I will not be doing that. But I am wearing long sleeves. Makes a whole lot of sense. The Bikeriders stars Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, and Tom Hardy, and is about Midwestern motorcycle club the Vandals transform into a dangerous underworld of violence while Benny must choose between Kathy and his loyalty to the club. From writer and director Jeff Nichols, who brought you Mud and Midnight Special, comes the brand new movie The Bikeriders, hitting theaters this Friday. I got to see it tonight due to Regal's mystery movie, and I kind of figured what it was before even entering this auditorium, but hey, I remember seeing the trailer for this movie back in 2023, and I was like, that looks good, and we are finally getting the wide release after the long delay, and I can flat out tell you this, as soon as this movie started, I was like, this is shot on film. I can just tell, and it is very much shot on film, and it looks so good on a movie theater screen. The Bikeriders, to me, is the definition of like a summer movie that would have came out in the 80s or 90s, or even any time before the pandemic, and been like the summer hit, honestly. I don't know how it's going to do coming up this Friday. I really don't, because, movie theaters are just struggling right now. But this movie just has the ingredients of good actors, good acting, a good story, and just has that old-fashioned movie making to it, and I was just in awe of the entire production. Seriously, Jeff Nichols makes a great looking movie, just like his other movies. He delivers characters that feel real, dialogue that feels real, and in moments of just pure humanity, you can take a story and really affect a character's emotion while going on a journey with the audience watching. That's what Jeff Nichols is so good at. He can just make you relate to characters and situations and just throw a wrench in there and cause havoc and cause trouble that makes you just so intrigued into the story. And the Bikeriders continues that trend in his filmography. I was into this movie. I was into the universe. I was into these characters. I do have a little bit of issues when it comes to the actual story and the writing, but more or less, I was really into this movie. Austin Butler, we already know how great of an actor he is. I will say this. He is not the main character. Do not go in thinking this is an Austin Butler movie. This is Jodie Comer's movie. She is the main character, and she does a very good job for the most part. I will say her accent felt distracting. Like, it just felt distracting. She's an amazing actress. We've already known this from like The Last Duel and such, but this movie, she is very good. She does a very good job as our main lead actress, but I will say there were times where, like, I don't know, maybe the accent just wasn't great, but it just felt distracting to me. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. And then you have Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, man, he's going to win an Oscar one day. One day he will. And this movie just keeps on showing how good he is, man. Tom Hardy is just, damn, he's a good actor, and he's just so good. But this entire cast, I mean, there's Michael Shannon's in this movie. He's great. Norman Reedus is in a small role. He's great. He's really unrecognizable. I mean, there is so many actors. The one guy from Challengers, the O'Connor person, I believe. Like, it's got a full cast, and everyone is just doing a very good job in their parts. Like I said, the production design, it being shown on film, it looks beautiful. The music is great. It's just all around a well put together movie. The soundtrack really mixes in with like the 1960s, early 70s, and I like the story of it taking a place like of this biker club. Basically, this movie feels like a prequel to what we all know bikers and the clubs become, because this movie shows how like Tom Hardy just basically made a club of guys who race bikes, and then they were like, let's do it as a club, let's wear a thing on our thing, and then it turns into a lot more, and that's where the movie, I have issues when it comes to major issues. So don't go in this movie thinking there's action. Don't go in this movie thinking this is a fast-paced movie. No, this is a slow-paced movie, and I will say I felt the 2-hour runtime, and I will admit when it comes to more of the storyline, Jodie Comer's character is like telling it to a reporter, and there are times in the movie I'm like, okay, so the reporter is reporting now, but then it shows the future of when she is telling the story, and it gets really mixed up of like, okay, the guy joined the gang as a reporter, told the story then, and also telling the story now, and they edit scenes together of her telling the story. It became really confusing on when the story was being told. Also, when it comes to Austin Butler's character, I say this in a very nice way. He's a very good actor, and he does a great job in this role, but I truly think they were trying to make him the main character, And honestly, it just didn't work. But then at times I was like, Tom Hardy's the main character. But overall, it is Jodie Comer. She is the main actress. She's the main character of this movie. And the movie for feels like more of like a cast. Like there's no solo main character. And honestly, narratively, it kind of feels like you're lost in places. In the very beginning, like it takes a while to get going. It takes a while to really figure out like where we're going. Because really, this movie just feels like, hey, this is what bike riders were in the 1960s, and we're going to show you how it is. Then about an hour in, hour 10 minutes, then something happens to where the plot thickens and we actually are figuring out what our characters are going to go through as a group and what's going to happen. For most of this movie, though, it just feels like almost like a documentary of like, here's bike riders, here's what it looked like, here's what it felt like, here's how they talked, and you know what? I was still intrigued, but for like a narrative film, I feel like the movie kind of struggled to get going and to get really interesting, and when it did, it was really late in the game. So, in the end, it is a enjoyable movie. It's a cool movie. It feels the heat with that film. Oh, it just looks so good on film. But I like the movie a lot. I think the acting's great. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this one, and it just feels like a very old-fashioned kind of movie. Truly does. And that's my best compliment for this movie. I'm going to give the Bike Riders a B+. So here's my question for you guys. Honestly, I want to know this one. How well do you think this movie is going to do at the box office? Because movie theaters have been weird this year, and we just finally had our big box office slam with Inside Out 2. So how is this one going to hold up this weekend? And if you guys enjoy this movie review, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.